I didn't sleep. How could I? Even after he vanished, like the shadows themselves folded and swallowed him whole, his presence lingered in the air, like smoke, like silk dragged across raw skin, like the scent of lightning just before a storm. I paced the crumbling perimeter of the ruined temple until my legs throbbed. The obsidian pillars stood like silent sentinels, watching, judging. The mist coiled around my ankles, never thinning, never parting. I wasn't alone here, not really. The veil had eyes, but worse than that was what it had put inside me. My mark, just below my navel, still pulsed with heat, even hours later, as if his touch branded something deeper than skin. A claiming, not physical, not entirely, but I felt it, and it felt wrong, and it felt good. That was the part I couldn't breathe around. I'd come here for answers, for truth, for something more than the empty rituals and dusty silence of my village. I didn't come looking for him, but now he was under my skin. His voice was inked along my nerves. His touch was burned into my blood. And worst of all, I knew I'd follow him again. A flicker of movement pulled my gaze to the tree line. No sound, just a ripple in the mist. I didn't flinch. I was done flinching. Instead, I stepped forward, bearing my mark to the trees like a challenge. Come out or keep hiding. Either way, I'm not running. The silence that followed was heavy. Then it moved again, closer, deliberate, predatory. He stepped out of the mist like it obeyed him. Tall, shadow-wrapped, every inch a threat carved into a man's form. His silver eyes drank me in slowly, from bare feet to the tension in my shoulders. He stopped when his gaze landed on my exposed midriff, where the mark shimmered. His lips curled, not in kindness. You didn't run. I told you I wouldn't. His head tilted, as if I'd amused him. Bravery or defiance? Does it matter? That made him laugh, a sound without warmth. It does. One gets you devoured, the other makes you interesting. He stepped closer, boots silent against the stone, until I had to tilt my chin to meet his gaze. You said I had, until moonrise, to choose what I am, I said. But you already know, don't you? His expression shifted, just slightly, enough for me to catch a glimpse of something darker beneath the surface. I know what the veil will make of you, but what you do with it. His hand lifted, 2 fingers brushing the side of my throat in a gesture so gentle it made my stomach twist. That's still unwritten. I hated how my breath caught, how the smallest touch from him made my body betray me. You keep touching me like I'm yours. Because you are. No hesitation, no apology. I slapped his hand away. I'm not a thing to be claimed. He didn't flinch, didn't even look annoyed. If anything, the gleam in his eyes sharpened. Every soul who enters the veil belongs to it, and now you carry its mark, he said softly. But don't mistake that for weakness. The veil doesn't keep what it doesn't want. I crossed my arms over my chest. And you're its gatekeeper? Something like that. He circled me slowly, like a wolf testing boundaries. Or maybe it's monster. You decide. I turned to follow his movement. If this is some power play, I'm not interested in being your pawn. Oh no, little flame. He came to a stop behind me, his breath ghosting across my ear. You were never meant to be a pawn. You're a queen waiting to remember her fire. His words set something inside me alight, an ache, not just of lust, but possibility. But I couldn't afford to get lost in it, not with him. I need to get out of here, I whispered. Back to my world. He stepped in front of me again, too close, and lifted his hand. Between his fingers hung a silver chain, delicate, ethereal, pulsing with faint blue veins of light. The way out, he said, but it's not free. I narrowed my eyes. What's the price? His gaze lowered to my lips. Your trust. A laugh escaped me, bitter, hollow. You think I'd trust you? No, he said, but you will. Then he dropped the chain. It vanished before it hit the ground. You'll beg for it when the veil begins to feast. I should have walked away, turned my back on him, on this place, on the warning thick in his voice, but I didn't move. Not because I couldn't, but because I didn't want to. That terrified me more than anything. The silver chain was gone, and yet I could still feel its chill in the air, like a promise I hadn't understood until it was already too late. What happens if I stay? I asked, my voice quieter now. Not out of fear, out of something far more dangerous. Curiosity. His lips twitched. Then the veil begins to unravel you. Strip away what you were, until you're nothing but what it needs. And what's that? He stepped closer. His hand rose again, but he didn't touch me this time, just hovered, a breath's width from my chest, as though he could feel my heartbeat pulsing beneath the skin. Power, he said, desire, hunger. You were born with it buried in you, girl. You crossed the veil because part of you was already breaking. I crossed it because I wanted the truth. And you'll get it, just not the kind you expected. He moved past me then, his cloak brushing my bare arm like a whisper of winter. Come, he said, I'll show you what you came for. I hesitated. Why are you helping me? He paused, turned, and this time, when he looked at me, something shifted in his expression, still sharp, still predatory, but softer at the edges. I'm not. The words were ice, but the way he looked at me, like I was the only fire in a frozen wasteland. He didn't wait for my reply, just vanished into the mist, expecting, knowing I'd follow. And I did. The path he led me down wasn't marked. No road, no trail, just shadows that shifted around him like they wanted him, or obeyed him. I walked in his wake, the cold reaching deeper the farther we went. The trees thinned, and suddenly the ruins opened up into a clearing bathed in unnatural moonlight. A circle of stones stood at its center, ancient and weathered. Carvings along the surfaces writhed like they were breathing. He stepped into the center and turned toward me. This is where it began. For you. For them. For all of us marked. I stayed at the edge, instinct coiling tight in my gut. What are you trying to show me? He lifted his hand. Shadows peeled back across the stone surface. Not light, not fire, something older, darker, a memory made flesh. And there, etched into the stone, I saw a sigil, one that matched the mark below my navel. My breath caught. "What is this?" "Your bloodline," he said. "The first bearer of your power was claimed here, under moon and curse. You were never just a girl. You were always meant to be a vessel." I shook my head. "I didn't ask for this." "No one does," he said. "But the veil doesn't care. It chooses. It binds. And now it's in you." He crossed the space between us, closing the distance in 2 long strides. I didn't retreat. I didn't want to. "You feel it, don't you?" he murmured. "The hunger, the ache." I swallowed hard. "That's not power. That's you." "Same thing," he said, his voice like velvet over blade. His hand brushed my waist, fingers skating the edge of the mark. Heat pulsed beneath his touch. Not magic, not just lust. Something far more dangerous. "I could burn you for this," I whispered. He leaned in, his mouth hovering just above mine. "Then do it." I didn't. I couldn't. Because the fire he ignited didn't want to destroy. It wanted to consume. My fingers fisted the front of his cloak, dragging him down into the kiss I swore I'd never give him. It wasn't gentle. It wasn't sweet. It was war. Teeth and tongue and desperation. The kind of kiss you didn't come back from clean. He groaned into my mouth, deep and hungry, his hands sliding down to grip my hips like he was anchoring himself. The veil pulsed around us, alive, aware, watching. I knew this was a mistake, but I also knew it was the first time in my life I'd felt something this real. He pulled away first, breathing ragged. "You should run from me." I looked into his eyes and saw the truth there. He wanted me to. So I said the only thing I could. "Then make me." His eyes flared, heat, shadow, something ancient behind them. I'd issued a challenge, and part of me expected him to retreat, to snarl or laugh or vanish into mist. He didn't. Instead, he reached for me, not gently, not cruelly, but with a force that was precise, controlled, dominant. My back hit the ancient stone behind me, the cold biting through the thin fabric of my dress. But I wasn't cold, not when his body pinned me there, not when his hand gripped my throat, not hard, not choking, just claiming. My breath hitched. "You don't know what you're asking for," he rasped, voice raw with restraint. "What I am. What this mark means. You still think you can touch power without it devouring you." "Then show me," I whispered. "What happens when I stop pretending I'm afraid?" He snarled low in his throat, the sound vibrating through me like a pulse. And then his lips were on mine again, but different this time. Slower, deeper, like he was trying to brand me from the inside out. My hands tangled in his hair as I arched into him, his thigh pressed between mine, deliberate and unyielding, and stars broke behind my eyes as pressure built where I ached most. Still clothed, still restrained. But I'd never felt more exposed. He broke the kiss only to trace his mouth along my jaw, to the hollow beneath my ear. His breath there was hot, ragged. "You think you can handle this," he murmured, biting down gently, just enough to make me gasp. "But you're still fighting it. still clinging to the girl you were. "She's gone," I whispered. "You ripped her apart." He stilled, just for a second, as if my words struck something beneath that vicious exterior. His fingers slid down to my waist, lifting my shirt just enough to expose the veil mark again. "Not me," he said, softer now. "This did. The moment it awakened, you stopped being mortal." His mouth lowered, his lips brushing the skin just above the mark. "And if you let me, I'll show you what you were meant to become." Gods help me, I wanted that. Not because of some prophecy, not because of bloodlines or fate, but because he said it with such certainty that I believed it. Because for the first time in my life, I didn't feel like something broken. I felt like something dangerous, something chosen, and I wanted more. My voice came out rough. "Then why are you holding back?" His head lifted slowly, eyes burning into mine. "Because if I don't, you'll be mine. In ways you can't take back." My pulse thundered. "Isn't that what this mark means?" He exhaled sharply, like the last thread of control was slipping through his grasp. "It means if I claim you, the veil won't let you go, and neither will I." His hand slipped around to the back of my neck, his thumb stroking under my jaw with devastating tenderness. A stark contrast to the storm raging in his eyes. "And if I want to be claimed?" That shattered something inside him. He kissed me again, rougher this time, his body flush against mine, every line of muscle and darkness pressing into the softness I couldn't hide. My legs wrapped around him instinctively, and his groan was pure sin. It wasn't about sex, not yet. It was about surrender, about opening a door that could never be closed. His mouth devoured mine, hands branding every inch of skin he could reach, until I was panting against him, nails dragging across his back, desperate to feel more. And then, just as suddenly, he pulled back. Not far, just enough to look at me. "You still don't know my name," he said hoarsely. I blinked, dazed. "Neither do you." He smiled, dark, dangerous, devastating. "I do. I've always known yours, Veilborne." My breath caught. "Then tell me." He leaned in, mouth brushing mine with maddening softness. "Eryx." The name was a blade, sharp, ancient. It vibrated in my bones like the first tremor of a spell. Eryx. Not just a shadow dweller, not just a cursed guardian, something more. The air around us shifted again, as if the veil itself had heard and approved. "I shouldn't have told you," he said. I smiled, drunk on power and danger and whatever this was. "Then take it back." "I can't." He stepped away, and the cold returned like a punishment. "Names have power here. Now I'm bound to you." The way he said it wasn't casual, it was ritual, and it felt like a promise. He adjusted the dark leather bands on his wrist and turned toward the woods again. "Come. The moon is rising, and there's more I need to show you before the veil tightens." I followed without question, because deep down, I already knew. I wasn't walking away from this. I was walking into it, into Eryx, into the veil. into whatever version of myself would emerge on the other side.